Hello everyone and welcome back on Ladybooks. Today, very special video because it's a tag and it's the Mystery Madness Journey tag. Today's video, I am taking out my Sherlock Holmes mug and using it as a holder for my microphone. Well, have you ever seen that? This is innovation in here. So, since it's in the theme of mystery, I was like, I need to feature this beautiful mug that was gifted to me from one of my besties like several years ago. And it's always like sitting here in my library in the Sherlock Holmes shelf. So for this tag, I discovered it like maybe a couple of weeks ago on a booktube channel called The Provincial Lady. It was my discovery of this channel and I was like, oh my god, this seems interesting. I would actually love to give my own answers to this challenge, to this tag. And I am and have always been, I think, a huge mystery fan. I have always, like, since forever, since a very young age, since I discovered reading and also like watching shows, which means like since forever, I have always been fond of mystery stories, mystery novels, but not thrillers because it is different. Like thrillers are different from mysteries, and it was thanks actually to this tag that I figured how I actually could love so much mystery stories and yet hate high stakes thriller stories full of anxieties. I love the anxiety that comes from mysteries and really hate the one that comes from like psychological thrillers. So without further blah blah, let's dive into this video and let's dive into this tag with the first question. So, question number one was, what was your first experience of reading a mystery and what was it like? I actually thought about this question a lot. I was wondering, what was my first mystery? What was the very first mystery I've read? And no surprises. I don't know why I thought about that a lot. I don't know why I forgot that, but no surprises. The very first one I read when I was like very young was a Sherlock Holmes, and it was this one particularly, and it was from, I do not know for the love of me what edition is this, but I know it's the collection Bibliothèque Rouge et Or, which is known for publishing. I didn't know that back then when I was a kid, but now I know that it is not like the full text. It is a text that is adapted like for kids. For example, that when you're a kid, you can understand like some more complicated stories that are pretty much aimed at adults and you still like can read them. So this was it. This was my first introduction to mystery. It was a Sherlock Holmes collection of stories. It was, I think, yes, adapt. Yeah, it's an adapted edition. It was adapted by Rémi Simon and illustrated by Patrice Duena. So I obviously was reading the French translation, as I am still always doing for everything Sherlock Holmesy. I've read like so far only one short story of Sherlock Holmes in English, and I felt like very proud of myself because this is like classical English we're talking about, not just like regular nowadays English. And I was very proud of myself for doing so. And it was, I think, a total of 6 short stories, and I remember loving them. This was not my first encounter with Sherlock Holmes. I already knew who he is. I already knew who the character is. Fun fact, I've thought for the longest time possible that Sherlock Holmes was not fictional and that he was actually real, and I've had a hard time believing that he was actually like ink on paper. So I still to this day believe that he's real. Like, I know he's not, obviously, but what is real? What is existing? Like, when something becomes part of the collective, like, memory of so many people, when a character becomes even more famous than the person who invented him, in this case, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Yes, he's very famous, but we cannot deny that his character is actually more famous than him. Like, so many people know Sherlock Holmes and know what he stands for and what he is, but so many people don't know that he was written by Conan Doyle. So he became very real in the memories and in the experiences and in the collective experiences of so many people around the world and across cultures. And if, like, for so long I was not told that he was fictional. People just assumed that I knew. Well, I didn't. I was like in late elementary school maybe when I discovered that, and I was like, oh my god, he cannot not be real. You cannot just tell me that he's real to me. So this was like my first encounter with mystery, and since day one, like, the stories of Sherlock Holmes and the adventures of Sherlock Holmes always sent like some sweet shivers in my spine. And these kind of shivers, it is only Sherlock Holmes that can like send them in my spine and in my feeling and in my being. And I remember I was reading that like late at night before bed, and I was like the only one maybe awake, and I was like reading that, and it's mysterious, and it's fun. It's the good kind of anxiety, not the anxiety again that comes from psychological thrillers. It's just like one that comes from mysteries, and especially from Sherlock Holmes. Like, this one, like, is very particular to me. This is why I will always, always, always read and reread Sherlock Holmes and love Sherlock Holmes, and it will always carry a special place in my heart. Our second question is: has the reading of a mystery novel ever started you? What was the book, and where were you when it happened? I'm gonna guess that startled me means here like surprised me very, very much, and like made me like very, oh my god, what the hell. I'm guessing yes. I'm guessing every single mystery novel I've read, unless it's like cozy mystery, has started me. I think that another obvious answer would have been probably another Sherlock Holmes, but in order to vary, I think that the last one that startled me a lot, and I was just at home when it happened. It was like maybe 4 a.m. in the morning, and I was again, I think, the only one awake. So it made me like very anxious, and I started like every single time I'm hearing something, maybe it's the neighbors, maybe it's like outside the car outside, I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? And the book is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. Let me just bring it. Here is it. I just like went to grab it. Here is it. I read the French translation, Die Petits Nègres. And then there were none by Agatha Christie, and this was actually my very first Agatha Christie without Hercule Poirot as the main character, as the main detective. So this is a story without any of her famous detective. So also without Miss Marple, and I cannot remember the name of her third detective. Up till now, I've only managed somehow, without choosing to do so, but I only managed to pick Agatha Christie's, and I've read a few, quite a few, but I've only read those with Hercule Poirot as the main lead. So it was almost cozy. No, not just almost cozy, it was cozy mystery. I always say that Agatha Christie is cozy mystery before the invention of the genre of cozy mystery. And it figured that her adventures with Hercule Poirot are. This one, not so much. This one startled me up till the end. It kept me like on the edge. It kept me very anxious up till the very end. And till when I say the end, I really mean the end. Like, I really mean the very last sentence, the very last word of the very last sentence, because it is only with that one that you get the answers to all the mysteries in this novel. Definitely a great one. Definitely one I would recommend. And I'm really grateful that I was just like home reading it, so I could like feel all the chills from it. Question number 3 now is: are there any people that have played a significant role in your mystery reading journey? Interesting question. I've thought about it a lot because I don't think there are actual like people, like real life people, that have played maybe a role in my mystery journey reading addiction. Maybe I would be tempted to say my mom, since she was like the first one who bought me my first Sherlock Holmeses. So maybe her, like, because she bought them to me, so she introduced me to Sherlock Holmes. But in a larger scale of people, I would say maybe that's another person that I really do not know, like personally, who have played a role in me loving mysteries would be Japanese mangaka Gosho Oyama. He's the one who wrote the Detective Conan series, the manga, and he's the one who's making the anime. And I remember that if, like, for example, Sherlock Holmes was my first encounter with mystery as a genre in terms of books, Detective Conan was definitely my first encounter with mystery as a genre in terms of TV shows and anime, and I've watched that since forever. I was very young when I watched the very first episode of of Detective Conan on TV. And what is great, I actually think that I was introduced to Sherlock Holmes thanks to Detective Conan, because Detective Conan takes a lot of inspiration from Sherlock Holmes. Well, his name is actually Conan, which is coming from Conan Doyle, and the main character Conan, aka Shinichi Kudo, the main male lead, is actually a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes and a huge fan of him, and he takes a lot of inspiration from him in the way he conducts his investigations. So I think that's two people may have played a big role in me loving and being introduced to the mystery genre. My mom, because she was the one who bought me my first mystery books, and Goshoyama, because he was the one who invented and created Detective Conan. I was a really huge fan of that. So this was like my perhaps my very first contact of Mr. Mystery as a genre in general, not just in books. Question number four is, what is your favorite mystery and why? Well, I think that most of my readings in terms of mysteries are either Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie, or the Marie and Carol Higgins Clark's books, or it is cozy mystery. So I do not have like a lot of varieties to choose a favorite one from, and I feel like even this one is not like maybe a favorite, but it has a special place in my heart. So maybe it's this one, La Vallée de la Peur, which is one of the Sherlock Holmes adventures. And why does it carry a special place in my heart? Because this one actually, well, all the Sherlock Holmes stories surprised me by the way they end, but this one surprised me a lot, especially because it was a novel, because I've only read up until reading this one, and I need a rereading of this one actually. It has been quite a few years since I've read it. But up until I read this one, I had only read like short stories of Sherlock Holmes. So even if it was mysterious, it was like a mystery that lasted only a short time, and then you had like the answer. But for this one, like the mystery lasted all along, and it kept me like very much on the edge for a very long time. And I remember loving it, and remember loving and being very much surprised by the way it ended. I still like remember very much the very ending, but I do not remember how. But this is why I would pick maybe this one as my favorite mystery. Maybe there are some others that I am not thinking of right now, but this is definitely one of my favorites. I could also actually say that the short story The Final Problem, Le Problème Final, by again one of Sherlock Holmes's adventures by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, is also one of my favorites ever, because it feels very nostalgic, because this is actually the short story with which Sir Arthur Conan Doyle had decided initially to end his journey of writing about Sherlock Holmes stories, but the appeal for Sherlock Holmes was so big that he resurrected his detective. And so reading that definitely feels a little bit nostalgic and a little bit sad. And it has like a sad note to it. And I remember enjoying reading it. I need to reread it. I need to actually reread all of this stuff. It was this good. This is me from after filming and finishing this video. I just have realized that I actually have maybe another favorite mystery that I could quote in this book. And I do not know how I forgot about it. And it's actually The Man Who Died Seven Times. And it was like my introduction to the mystery genre made by the Japanese. I have never read any Japanese literature book that is a mystery. And I loved this one. It was so good, so good, so good, so good. I highly recommend it. It was so well crafted. It's this kind of books where you're enjoying the whole process of the mystery, and not just like the ending, not just the way everything unfolds. You're enjoying every single step, and you're like, oh my god, this is so good, so sweet. Honestly, it was not even anxious at all. It was just like, wow, this fits so perfectly, so neatly, like a beautiful puzzle. So this is definitely an all-time favorite, I think, and definitely a mystery I would recommend you also if you just want to start reading mystery. This is a good place to start. Number five is, which mystery protagonist do you prefer? Well, I feel like I'm gonna be repeating myself a lot. My favorite mystery protagonist is forever and always Sherlock Holmes. I love a lot of mystery protagonists in books, in mystery books. For example, I love Hercule Poirot so freaking much. Like, he has that beautiful, witty sense of humor you just love. And I love following his books, and he's just like so good. I also love Agatha Raisin from the Agatha Raisin series. She's like this protagonist that is such an anti-heroine, such a person who is like very, very, very much flawed, and she does like so many morally great things and morally great decisions. But you just cannot help but root for her and appreciate all her madness and all the messy, clumsy things she does. I also love the main character. I cannot think of his name now. I think his name was Charlie, if I'm not mistaken. It's just been a moment since I've read the first couple of books in the series. And main character from the Le Chat du Bibliothécaire by Miranda James. I really like this character. He is very different. And yet very normal, very regular, and he has a cat. So, and he's a librarian, so an archivist. And he's a librarian, so he's definitely an interesting main character and an interesting main amateur detective. I also love Vera Wong from the Vera Wong series by Jessica Sutanto. So definitely a lot of main characters from mysteries, definitely a lot of main protagonists from mysteries that I love. But my forever love will always and forever be Sherlock Holmes. I just love him so much. I have a full freaking video about Sherlock Holmes actually on my channel. It is in French back in the days when I was just like filming only videos in French. I invite you to watch it if you want. It's been a moment. It's been a minute since I've seen it, so I don't know is the quality of that, but you're free to go check it out if you want. I'm basically just babbling and fangirling about Sherlock Holmes and about loving Sherlock Holmes so much. I just love this character. It's iconic to me. It's very much a genre in itself, and I cannot like stop babbling about him when I start. Question number six is, which mystery do you wish you could read again for the first time? No spoilers. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely will give this one a hard pass because I feel like all the mysteries I've read till now are mysteries I have forgotten the ending or the closure to, or maybe even when I remember sometimes, like who it is, for example, who's the killer. Uh, I do not remember how they found it or how he or she did it. I don't remember the details. I remember loving the story, but I always forget the details of my mysteries. So everything Sherlock Holmes, everything Agatha Christie are things I would gladly reread. There are also, for example, some mysteries that I would cozy mysteries that I will reread. For example, I totally see me rereading the Raisin series from the beginning. I am in book 5 now. I totally see me rereading the first 4, especially if I stumble upon them as audiobooks. I may actually reread them. I actually do not genuinely remember how things ended. Like, I remember some details about who did it, but I do not remember why they did it. Like, I'm talking about the crimes and the murders they committed. I do not remember like so many details. I don't know. I think I've heard about it before that people just like forget who did it in the mystery novels. And I was like, really? And now I'm actually like, yeah, really. I actually forget too. And I have like a pretty good memory with remembering what happens in books, but in mysteries, like give me a couple or 3 years and I'm like, I do not remember. I remember loving that. I know that if I read it, I would love it just as much. And big bonus, I actually forgot the details of what happened. I sometimes remember like some very random, unnecessary detail from the story and not remember like the big picture. Question number 7 is what mystery or mystery series would you most like to see adapted for the big or small screen and why? Do you have any casting choices in mind? And what is your favorite adaptation of a mystery or mystery series? So we have three questions in this. I actually have the answer to the first one like very ready. I've been thinking like what is the one thing that I would love to see adapted to a series. I think that it would be anything by Marie or Carole Higgins Clark. And I'm thinking especially that I would love to see a TV show starring her protagonist, Regan Riley, which like her adventures count many, many, many books. I have read, I think, two of her adventures, not in order because I didn't know when I picked them up that there is an actual order. So I just read some of her random adventures. So I would love to actually see a TV show, not movies. I feel like movies often are made like in a very rushed way. So I would love a TV show featuring Regan Riley by Carole Higgins Clark. I would really, really love that. I would also really crave another Sherlock Holmes adaptation, perhaps, even though the best one is, which this one is the answer for what is, in your opinion, the best adaptation of a crime or of mystery novel to a TV show, and it's BBC's 2010 Sherlock adaptation by Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss, starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes and Martin Freeman as Dr. John Watson. They are actually the ones here. Like this is Sherlock, this is Mycroft Holmes, aka Mark Gatiss, who also co-wrote the show with Stephen Moffat, and Martin Freeman, Dr. John Watson. So this is, in my opinion, like the best adaptation ever. People have, like, I've heard that there are some people who have loved it less. I feel like it's the thing with Stephen Moffat. You either love it and adore it, or you like do not like what he does. I adore and love what he does, and I feel like he captured the soul, the very soul of Sherlock Holmes. Even though it's a modern day adaptation, so it's like Sherlock Holmes nowadays, like us, not like in back in the days. But he captured the very soul of the character, and I was like very grateful for him for doing that. Definitely a very nostalgic show for me. I keep watching and rewatching it every now and then. And do I have a casting in mind for my Regan Riley by Carole Higgins Clark adaptation? No, I actually haven't thought about that. I have no casting in mind. So I'm guessing anything will do as long as they stay like true to the essence of the book. They do not have to be true to every single detail. They just need to stay true to the soul of the characters, in my opinion. Question number 8 is do any mysteries intimidate you? And if yes, what mystery or mystery series and why? There was one, but I'm not intimidated anymore by it because I started it, and it's the collection of stories and adventures of Inspector Jules Maigret by Georges Simenon. I read the very first adventure, Pietre le Temps, Pietre the Latvian, last year, like in perhaps in November or December, and I really loved it. Why was it intimidating to me in the beginning? It's because it's very long. Like it's a very long series with a lot of books, perhaps maybe more than 70 books. And I was like, oh my God, I need a lot of time to get through that. And it was up until I was like, I'm not in a rush. I'm just gonna read these like whenever I feel like it. Even though like I would have loved to have read like more of them up till now, I have only read the first one and I loved the first one. I love Jules Maigret's character, but I'm like, it's okay. It's gonna take me years, and it's okay. I'm not in a rush. I do not need to rush myself to read it. This is like a passion of mine. This is supposed to be for pleasure. So I do not need to be intimidated by that. I was definitely intimidated by it before starting it, and then I was like, hell no. I'm just gonna start it and read it, like depending on the flow, depending on how much time I have, and whenever I'm craving one. I definitely loved Jules Maigret's character, and I'm actually very, very, very excited to be diving into the latest PBS masterpiece adaptation of them. They made a modern day adaptation, and I have high hopes for it. Up till now, there is only one season, and it has been renewed for a season 2. So I still haven't watched it. I'm definitely excited to do so. Number 9 is what tips would you give to readers hesitant to read mysteries? I would say that most people who are hesitant perhaps to read mysteries are people who still haven't found the right mystery for them. Because I want to highlight this, and this is something I said in the beginning of the video. It is that mysteries are very different from thrillers. If you have seen or if you've been hearing me up till now, I haven't given any answer with a thriller. So I do not read thrillers. I have back in the days read some thrillers. I still till now read like maybe a couple thrillers a year, but they are definitely not my go-to genre, and I actually do not like them at all. They just give me, in my opinion, unnecessary anxiety, especially if they are like too psychological, and I do not see the appeal. They're just not for me. They have their own public and their own audience. So I think that the people who do not read mysteries are often people who confuse the two, thrillers and mysteries. Mysteries are, do not get me wrong, they can give you anxiety. They can make you feel highly anxious. They make you sit on the edge of your chair, but they never make you feel, or almost never, or in very little doses, they do not feel make you feel uneasy. You feel good. Even though you're anxious, you feel good reading them. You feel like you want to know. You feel like you want to become a detective. You feel like you, for a long time, and I'm sure that in another life, I was meant to be a private consultant or a private detective. So the mysteries make you feel like that. But thrillers don't. Thrillers sometimes are domestic thrillers. They make you dread in your neighbors. They make you dread in the people you live with. They make you dread everything in life. They make you super anxious about everything. What if that person that I'm meeting every single day, that is my neighbor, is actually a psychopath? What if this person walking down the street is actually a psychopath who just waiting to kidnap me? So psychological thrillers, they make you feel like that. Mysteries, not so much. So I would like highly, very much tell you, the tip that I would give you is just start with a low stakes classic. Maybe a Sherlock Holmes, maybe an Agatha Christie, or maybe a better tip, start with an official cozy mystery. For example, because cozy mysteries are just like about people who are like you and me, who find themselves in a situation where they're investigating a murder. A very low stakes cozy mystery I could recommend you is the Vera Wong series by Jesse Q. Sutanto. I'm kidding you not. At one point, I forgot that we were looking for a murderer. There are two books till now. I don't know if there will be a third one, and I've just only read the first one. Very, very soon we'll be reading the second one. And it's so good, as I told you, and that it's so low stakes that you forget that there is an actual murder that is being solved. You just vibe with the characters, and it's with this very unhinged main character, Vera Wong, this old lady who's investigating a murder, and she's just like doing that for fun. And all these characters and all these suspects you cannot like help but root for. So yeah, definitely start with a cozy mystery, and Vera Wong would be a very nice place to start with. I feel like the Agatha Raisin series is a little bit more serious. Not that it's like it doesn't make you anxious at all. It's just that it's an older series, so it's definitely like more commitment. Like there are a lot of books in the series. I also could recommend you actually the Anna Swensen series, even though it's not my favorite, especially that the main character like took some time to grow on me, but it's definitely a good one, and it's definitely very cozy, and it's definitely very patisserie, and it's definitely very bakery orientated. So you're just like solving murders and making cookies and cupcakes, and everything is right with the world in beautiful Minnesota. So yeah, so bottom line is thrillers are not mysteries. If you're intimidated and do not want to start a thriller, like just tell yourself that these are like two separate genres, and often mystery lovers and thriller lovers can be like two different set of peoples. I am the living proof of this. And if you want to pick a mystery, just start with a cozy mystery thing. And these were like some of my recommendations of where to start. And finally, number 10 is, have you ever helped solve a crime or been part of something that sounds like it could have been a crime or could have been in a mystery novel? Tell us about it. Sadly, I do not cannot think of anything. My life is pretty dull in this area. Like except from like everyday life gossip or maybe some maybe higher stakes gossips, I do not think that I have ever been confronted with a situation where I needed to solve a crime or in a situation that could have been in a mystery novel. Well, at least not now. I cannot think of anything right now, which is pretty, I don't know if I'd say like thanks God or this is like pretty boring. I am torn between these two. Like thanks God I have never been confronted with a thing like that, or oh my God, it's lame. I have never been confronted with anything like that. But yeah, the mystery lover in me would love to. But again, realistically speaking, do we really want to be like encountered with a real life crime we need to investigate in real life? That is debatable. I'm going to be adding an additional question to this tag because this is something I want to talk about, and it's about what is a mystery TV show or movie that you loved and that you hoped were a book. And I actually have a very ready answer to this one, and it's The Residence on Netflix. I loved this series, and while watching it, I was like, this is so Agatha Christie coded. And while watching it, I was like, there is no way this is not a book. It's such a loss and it's such a shame that this is not a book. So if ever someone makes a book out of this series, I will definitely be reading it. It's like very cool, very great, very Agatha Christie coded, very, very, very great mystery. I'm highly recommending it. I also want to make a very special mention for a TV show that is actually mocking not mystery shows and not mystery books, but more like thriller books and thriller shows. And this show is, sorry, I'm going to be reading the name because it's a very long title, and it's The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window, starring Christine Bell. And all of this show, like it's allow me, it's an 8 episodes show on Netflix, and it's all of it is a very huge parody of thriller books and of everything very cliche that happens in them, and of all the bad decisions the leads from thriller books seem to make and just do not make sense. And it's a very cliched story. It's definitely like it makes you anxious and it makes you like, who the hell is the killer? But it's definitely something to take very second degree because it's definitely mocking the thriller genre in the best way possible and without offending the thriller lovers. So definitely go for it whether you love or do not love thrillers. It's a little bit graphic in terms of like it's gonna show you all the blood and all the bodies and everything, but it's definitely funny. Like it's definitely funny, and I would give anything to actually erase it from my mind and to watch it again for the first time. That was it for me. Thank you all, my dearest mystery lovers or not. Maybe you do not love mysteries and you've just like watched this video out of curiosity, and maybe you just wanted to see what I had to see, and maybe you're just like one of my best friends and you're watching this because you want to support me. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't hesitate to leave a thumbs up, to share it around you, and to comment. I always love to see your little comments on my videos. Thank you so much. I hope you liked this tag. Tell me if you want to see like more tags in the future, perhaps. See you very soon in a new video. As always, je vous aime. À très bientôt.